Hey guys, back with second video of some of the modifications I've done to the truck. So it's cold and rainy out, so it's a good opportunity to get a lot of these little things done on the truck. But because of that, I've got an absolute disaster of tools and stuff just scattered all around. So bear with me that there's a lot of stuff I'm going to go over, so it might be kind of a long video, but we'll kind of start with the outside and move our way around. I mounted this here temporarily with a C-clamp just to see if I like it, and I don't. So that's going to be going. Don't worry about that. But kind of doing a walk around. I'm fitting all kinds of mocking up stuff. So it's a tight fit in here, but kind of working our way around. My truck did not have this cap, I guess, for where the troop seats are mounted. And so I just plasma cut one out real quick. This little ring is from the little donut that keeps the tailgate from bouncing around. But so mine did not have one. I didn't like the style where they just put a pin in because it rattles. And the reality is I'm not going to be accessing this troop seat. I'm not going to be storing my troop seats all that often. So these are just 1/2-inch fine thread bolts, and I ran a tap through some of the sheet metal that's on the backside. And so it keeps it from rattling, and it's kind of secure, so not really going anywhere. But working my way around this toolbox. Oh my gosh, one of the best modifications I've done. It's all mounted and done, and I've got probably 200 pounds of, well, some of it's on the ground right now, but I've got a couple hundred pounds of stuff in there, and it doesn't move at all. And so what an awesome thing, because the only other storage is under the seat, and it's kind of a hassle to get inside and access it all. This is a perfect kind of a waist high level, and there's a little working area. Plus you can now go from the catwalk to here directly into the cab. So it's a good one to have. I'm gonna go over some of this too. I put AC in the truck. So there's the receiver dryer, and I'll go over some of that in the cab. But while I was in here, I had to flush the cooling system to replace the heater core that has the AC in it. So when I drained the radiator, the inside of the radiator had a bunch of scale in it. So I did a complete flush, and when I was done, the inside of the radiator looked brand new. But what I thought was there's probably still some of the scale floating around on the block, so I added a coolant filter and just teed that into the heater core. I'll let you guess the date I installed it. But so we'll see. I'll pull that off, I don't know, a few months, maybe a few hundred more miles, cut it open and see if anything's in there. But while I was in here, it's tight fit, but this is the valve that from the dashboard shuts the coolant flow off to the heater core, so you don't get residual heat in the cab. But no matter what, you never get 100% of the flow shut off. So I added this blue handled ball valve right there, and that's a complete 100% seal. So no coolant flows through the heater core when this is shut off. You just, in the winter months, have to remember to open it. And so then the coolant filter gets all the flow. So anyway, I'll cut that open at some point, see what I get out of that. I might add electric fans to the condenser that's back there to help in cooling, so that the engine cooling fan isn't coming on all the time. But there isn't enough room in between the grill and the condenser for a fan. So I don't know if I took the grill off and flipped it backwards, and I just have it zip tied just for now, just to see if it would even work. And it gains you probably 1.5 inches of clearance. It looks a little goofy because it's hanging out so much, but anyway, we'll see if that works. Coming around this side, you can see, I'll go over in a second, but I added some cameras. One thing I added is, I'm going to jump up here and show you, so hang on. All right, so I added a mount onto this upper radiator hose. You can see it here. It's just TIG welded aluminum. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. It's pretty difficult to weld. This is 5/8 aluminum down to some tubing. And you probably see a little bit right there. There's a piece of rubber in between the aluminum and the radiator hose, a radiator line. because that's aluminum as well, to add a little cushion. So I'm going to clip in a little video of how wobbly this was. So sit tight. All right, so you can see from there that's just such a terrible design. Although you don't hear of any trucks breaking down because of it, but now you can see this thing doesn't move at all. So that's helped out quite a bit. So here's the first one I made, and I just didn't like, it didn't hold the radiator hose up enough. It let it droop a little bit still. So this is just a scrap piece. But you can see going from that thin aluminum to 5/8 thick, it's not the easiest. So anyway, this is a scrap piece. But what's cool, I didn't even have to drill any bolt holes. Those 2 bolts that are there are for the air horn. So that was not drilling, I didn't have to drill anything. Next thing I'm going to do, and this should just be absolutely criminal that Oshkosh lets this happen. The 5 tons all have a, does this focus? A ball valve, or a valve to, this is the emergency air. So when you are towing the truck, you can connect the running truck into this to release the spring brakes. There's no valve here. And so I tested it one day. I had the truck all aired up, and I just bumped this with my hand, and the cap came off. There's no valve here. This has 100% of air pressure. This whole Glad Hand seal blows out. It's ear-piercingly loud, and within about, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, the truck loses all of its air. And it's like, I mean, come on. A stick could bump that off. So my plan is I'm going to add this valve. They sent me the wrong one. This is 1/2 inch MPT, and the fitting's 3/8, so I got to return that. But I just can't believe that that's a good design. So anyway, that's going to be just fine. That'll be a valve in there, and if something bad happens and this ever falls off, then we're still in good shape. All right, we'll jump up into the cab now. All right, one more thing while we're here. My front shocks were completely blown out, just completely gone. I could not for the life of me find replacement MTVR shocks. These are MRAP shocks. They fit. This upper mount is a little bit different, but these were like $60 each. And like I said, I just could not find, or couldn't find for a decent price, MTVR shocks. So anyway, that's an option. I've taken the truck off-roading since and had no issues, and it rides quite a bit smoother. So, all right, so up in the cab now. Not really a modification, but my truck did not have the door molding on it, and the amount of air draft that you'd get coming in was just unbearable. It would freeze your left leg. So this is a company named Trimlock makes this, and I'll peel a little piece back. They call this part the bulb. And if you guys are interested, I can get you the part number. But awesome, because that really did help. Let me get that back in there. This this carpet is just house carpet, and I have an unlimited supply of it. I've got it. It's all dark in here, but I've got it running through the whole cab. It looks terrible. It was kind of a proof of concept to see if it would even work, and it is a game changer. You can have a full-blown cell phone conversation in here with this carpet. So it's not tacked down or anything. It's just laying in there. But oh my gosh, what a huge change. While I was in here, I added some pieces of insulation anywhere I could. And but the carpet by far was the biggest change. I also added some insulation up here. This is that it's like a foil-backed tar, kind of a tar paper, and then I just painted it. It looks a little funky, but this is double wall, so there's another layer in there, and you almost can't, on a 100-degree day, you can't even put your hand on that. It's so hot. And same with this. This is single layer, and I mean, it would just burn your hand. So anyway, good modifications. It made it quite a bit quieter in here, which is nice on a long drive. You're not gonna be able to see it. I added a 4-camera DVR camera system, so it's got, front of the truck, back of the truck, left and right, and it records. I'm just fearful that someone's going to pull out in front of me, I'm going to smash into them, and I'm going to take the blame for it. So cheap insurance, not easy to install. This is a 24 volt system, so I didn't have to run any voltage reducer or anything. And the wiring's pretty clean on it. It pops through right there, but that's not so bad. So pretty happy with that. Onto the dash, I added some switches. So I've had a bad experience with these center mount horn, or the steering wheel horns. I've gotten sand in an old Jeep of mine once, and the horn stayed on the freeway, an air horn blowing down the freeway for miles. So these are kind of inexpensive switches that'll activate the horn. So pretty happy with that. I've got a light. I'm adding a light bar in the front, so I've mounted the switch here, and then rear lights. I added a light bar in the back. Let me show you that real quick. So I think this is a 22 inch, and it's curved, so you actually get a fair amount of light shining back on the bed. Let me see if I can turn the lights off here in the garage and show you. All right, so it's pitch black in here. I mean, I'm looking all around the garage. You can't see anything. So let me see if I can find this switch. Yeah, so there's with the light on, and there's with it off. So pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. It's a good work light, although it's blinding. It's almost too bright, but it's good to have. And there it is on. So pretty happy with it. All right, so we're back in the cab, and the way I wired these is if you turn like the headlights on, the switches come on the bottom here, and it's cool because it even dims with the light dimmer. So, and then when you turn it on, you get the light coming on here to let you know it's on. So happy with that. Another thing I did, so rear light bar, this will be the front light bar when I install it, and then horn. This is a blank in your switch panel, so you get all your winch controls and all that stuff. This is a blank. I don't know why it's not focusing in, but this is just it's actually a 24 volt USB adapter, and it shows your voltage, and you just plug in USB, and you get, it's safe. So kind of a easy thing to do, because there's plenty of power to tap into here, because this doesn't pull that much amperage, and then it's a blank anyway. So I actually left the blank back there and just trimmed out to get it to fit. And all of this stuff is all these lights are being fed by, let me see if I can jump over here into the passenger side. I put a big 150 amp circuit breaker under it's tucked up all the way above that gas pedal, and that feeds it's so dark in here. It feeds a fuse panel that I installed here. Well, you can't see anything in here. But anyway, there's a big main feed, and then, no, it's just dark. Sorry, well, you'll have to take my word for it. There are 6 positions here that you can add on to. So, like the light bar and stuff is fused. It comes off of here, and then the main feed, if this were to ever arc out, is protected by a fuse panel. So it's dead space in here anyway. This is under your cover. So good spot for that. With the AC, turn the AC on and off. One other thing I did with the air conditioning is you get this, dude, I'm sorry, I should have brought a light. Let me see if I can get a flashlight. All right, we got a flashlight on here now. This comes with the truck stock, and that blows your heater and air through there. And when you buy the AC kit, it comes with a replacement one of these for some reason. I guess if yours is bad. So what I did is I teed, this would be the hose that feeds it. I teed off, and I ran the second one that they give you in the kit to here. So this is just an exact, the same thing as this, just mounted over here. So now you get some air on your left leg. So that's been pretty cool. And then, now you won't be able to see it, but tucked up in here is that circuit breaker. So now that I have the light, let me show you that fuse panel. So anyway, there it is. Every circuit's got its own color, so easy to diagnose if you lose something. And then when I mounted the light, I did the wiring pretty clean. It's all ran kind of tucked underneath in a shielded sheath. And then this comes up to a grommet that's got some RTV silicone. And then I've got a spare set of wires here. At some point I'm going to put maybe a radio and a dome light in here because it needs it really bad. So the spare wires are already ran. All I have to do here is pop a fuse in, and then this wire is hot. So I think the only other thing I didn't like that the cigarette lighter power, not an inverter, but that what converts it from 24 to 12 volt. I didn't like that it was on all the time. So if you leave your battery switch on, you're getting 12 volts out of here and it's converting power the whole time. So I added a switch here. So when that's on, you're getting 12 volts here. When this is off, while it looks like it's real close, the wire actually runs all the way down to the converter and back, so that the converter right now has no power, no heat. It's not converting anything. And I feel like that's a better way to do it. So jump back over here. Not really a modification, but I bought this air valve lock. So when you open this thing up, try to do this one-handed here. These slide up under and it locks, and then you cannot disable the parking brake. You could still start the truck. You know, I know some guys have put in a keyed ignition here, but at least you couldn't move the truck. So I think that's about it. Excuse the mess. I'll come up with another list when I get this light bar and all that other stuff installed, and we'll see you then. Thanks.